Hello, my most amazing artists! Today we're going to be creating Zentangles. A Zentangle is a pattern that repeats over and over, and it's supposed to be a relaxing process while you're Zentangling. Today we're going to be Zentangling in the shape of a circle because we read the book The Dot and I learned all about Dot Day. So to start out with, I have a circle tracer ready, a white piece of paper, and a pencil. I'm writing my name and class code on the back of my paper with the pencil. If I were to use marker, it could have bled through. Now I'm going to trace my circle, holding down this lid with one hand as I trace around it with the other. If you don't have a lid, you could use a bowl, a plate, or anything circular that will fit on your paper. Or you could just freehand your circle too. That always works. Then I'm going to get ready to draw. Now you'll see that in my video, I'm going to start out with Sharpie today. If you don't have a Sharpie, you could use a black pen, you could use a black colored pencil, or you could just use your pencil, whatever you have. But if you're in class with me today, you're going to have both a fine point or skinny Sharpie and then a regular point Sharpie. And you'll have that Zentangle pattern sheet to look at. There are so many different Zentangle patterns, but you can also create your own. It's anything that repeats again and again. Now I'm going to use a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, that's okay. You can absolutely use something like a book or another piece of paper to just hold up and trace that straight line. Or again, you can just freehand that straight line. So I'm going to use my Sharpie, but you could use your pencil. Beware that you only get one piece of paper and Sharpie does not erase. But because Zentangling is supposed to be relaxing, I don't want to have to outline again, so I'm going to go ahead and use Sharpie and just agree that if I make a mistake, I'm going to have to turn it into a happy accident. I made a few different lines to break up the sections of my dot. Those lines intersected at random places. There's no right or wrong way to do that. So I just made a few lines, made different sections inside of that circle. So you'll see that now that I have those lines, I can make all different patterns in each section of my circle. So I'm going to get some ideas from that idea sheet, but again, you can make up your own pattern as long as it's anything that repeats. Usually Zentangles don't have a whole lot of colored in sections. So notice I'm not scribbling with my Sharpie, I'm not coloring large areas, I'm only coloring in small different areas of the pattern when needed. There's a lot of repeating lines, stripes, zigzags, curvy lines. All of these kind of create an optical illusion. There's so many cool patterns that you could do. Again, absolutely create your own if you want. It could be as simple as a lot of stars, of hearts, of flowers, but I would try to play around with the ideas that are on that paper to get inspired by something new. Challenge yourself. Zentangling is meant to be relaxing, so don't get stressed. If a pattern looks a little too hard or you can't figure out how to create it, just make one yourself. The whole idea is that this is supposed to be relaxing as you're drawing. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Anything you do that repeats again and again is a pattern, and that's awesome. I'm going to make this one into a checkerboard. Now, it is okay to color with your Sharpie in small sections. So if you would like to color in things like, say, that checkerboard pattern, something that really makes a difference in your drawing, that's when it's okay. But I'm not using my Sharpie to color in large areas of it. I'm making sure that I'm doing a lot of little lines close together with my patterns. That's what's visually going to make the most of an impact. Now I'm almost done with my dot. So once I fill up all of my white space and do a different pattern in each section, then I'm going to think about the end of that book, The Dot. Before Vashti finished her artwork, her art teacher said to sign it. You can only have a finished masterpiece if you sign your work. Nobody's going to know whose it is when your name's on the back. Then I'm going to take my scissors and carefully cut around my original circle that I drew, making sure that I'm doing baby shark chomps with my scissors and not daddy shark chomps, because then that would go crazy and I wouldn't have a perfect circle cut. I would have a very choppy line with lots of white paper at left and jagged edges. So once I'm done cutting carefully around there, then I can throw out my scraps and I'm good to go. Now that I have my dot and I'm cleaned up, I can celebrate Dot Day. Have fun, artists.